online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
So we had fun picking the song tonight.
Yes, we did.
Hello, Blindspot fans, and welcome to the AfterBuzz TV Blindspot After Show. We are covering episode 14, Rules in Defiance, which anagrams to Find a Secure Line. And I have the wonderful Stephanie Garrett with me this evening.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I am at Stephanie G3360 on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We are checking the hashtag that is ABTV Blindspot. We're also going to have the live chat up in just a few. So if you're watching live, if you're tweeting live, if you have something fun you want to say, throw it in the chat, throw it in the hashtag, and you may well get a shout out.
Yeah.
So what did we think of this one?
Well, I don't know. I always say I liked it, but I thought it was interesting. I'll just say it like that. Interesting.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, we definitely bucked the formula for this one because Jane spent most of her time in the B story. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I was perfectly okay with that.
Yeah,
it was
me too.
kind of nice to have a break. It was kind of nice to have something new and different in the formula. Like, I liked that.
Yeah.
I also liked seeing Weller with his mind on the case and not all over everywhere.
Right. Yeah, that was nice to see him kind of focused.
And Reed calling him out was a thing of wonder and beauty.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, Reed was on fire this episode.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes people, you just got to put them in check.
Oh, Reed was the second best person this episode. The MVP is Zapata.
Yeah.
She was, I think I wrote down, where is it? Zapata kicking ass and doesn't bother taking names.
Yep. And that says, as she should.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it. First, we see Weller and is it Allie?
Allie, I believe.
Having a splendid evening.
Many drinks and a room was trashed and there may or may not be a sock missing. It's like, oh,
right.
Yeah, we had a really good night.
Yeah, really good.
It's like, are we feeling guilty? Maybe just a little, maybe?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
It's just a booty call, but it's okay.
Well, and I love that we get these little bits that start out the episode and then we bookend it for the most part because we don't see or talk about her again until the very end where he's doing the same thing. Like, hey, let's go out to a basketball game with terrible seats and overpriced beer and we'll go from there. Mm-hmm. And I do love that she made the point, and I wrote this down, I don't want to play proxy to the woman you really want to be sleeping with.
Ooh, I said, well, now.
Yes.
I don't play second banana to anybody, mister. Well, that's pretty much what she's saying.
I get the feeling that Weller is just really confused right now.
Yeah, he is. And I think he has so much invested in Jane that he kind of needs to take his mind off of her because it's going to consume him. You know?
And he's really feeling it for Jane, but she stood him up, and then he just kind of, backed off from it. Just everything it's all a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess. I kind of think Allie is a little bit better for him in a way, suited because of the job that they're in, and they kind of have a little history because they dated once upon a time. So,
well, she's an ex, isn't she?
Yeah, she is an ex. Yeah,
I'm wondering why she's an ex.
I know. I was thinking that too. They didn't bring that up, but I'm curious.
I am curious as to how that ended. Because that could play into what's happening now. If it was just a mutual, okay, we're breaking it off, okay, we don't see this being permanent, whatever, the job's getting in the way, then fine. Mm-hmm. But if it ended poorly or if it ended with, there's a lot of baggage left over that could make this go around very interesting.
Which is why it works so well as just a booty call for now. You know what I mean? Let's just get it together and you get out. Get your socks and get out.
I have the feeling that emotionally Weller is incapable of that.
You're probably right.
He's going to get way too invested in this and it's just going to...
Yep.
Right in the face.
Yep. There you go. So.
The man has so many issues, he has a subscription.
Yeah, he does.
And as long as we're talking about it, let's talk about Reed, because Reed is amazing.
I love
and
Reed.
I adore him.
Actor Rob Brown, he's so wonderful.
And we get a nice... We really did bookend the episode with the romance scenes, but we had a fling, and then we're in the shower. It's like, okay, you guys, are we being sex positive to offset most of the rest of this episode, or what are we doing here? Here's some healthy relationships. Now we're in hell. Now we're back to some relatively healthy relationships.
Right.
Let's bookend it to make you feel better.
And here's the difference.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
This isn't.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was a nice scene. You talking about the scene where he puts him in check, right?
Oh, I was talking about the scene where he's in the shower with her sister. And
that too.
If you want to talk about another woman while we're naked, okay.
Yeah, that's a little weird. That's just, I was like, okay, shut up. Stop talking.
Well, she would have been the only other person who knew Taylor, but she has a good point. Like, no one's the same as they were when they were 5.
Right.
This is a dead end. Why are we talking about this while we're in the shower? Stop it.
Yeah. I've kind of wondered, this is, well, my little mind working again. Do you kind of think Reed is really into Sarah, or is he into Sarah for a reason?
No, he said he's been into her, and it's been for weeks. I sincerely doubt that he's playing her for the get closer to Taylor angle. Like,
okay,
no.
Okay, all right. I was that's just a question mark that popped up, and I thought, maybe not. Okay, we'll see.
He doesn't seem like that kind of person.
Yeah,
and I feel like if that were the case, we might have had some indication of it by now.
Yeah, he might just be wanting information though, because he is kind of giving Jane the side eye with, like, hey, I don't trust this girl yet. I don't know what's her deal. So he may just be wanting some little bit of intel. Yeah,
well, he trusted her, and now he doesn't anymore because Fisher's story last week made way too much sense.
Yep, that's true. It did.
So, yeah, let's talk about that scene. That was a fun little scene. The conversation in the car. Like, this is the worst possible time to have this, but we're going to do it. We got to do it.
Yeah, it was a little awkward because you never know how it's going to go, because it can go cool, it can go really nasty.
Well, and Kurt is obviously not very good at talking about things like this.
Right, and with him, it's always going to go kind of nasty, just so we know that, because we know that about him, right?
Yeah, and the point he made was, I can't have your personal life interfering in our work. And I was like, Reed was basically like, okay, you giant hypocrite, let's talk.
I know, I was like, dude, really? Seriously? Are you going to go there? Really?
Yeah, because Reed's been keeping this information, this relationship on the down low for weeks. No one even knew, except for Zapata, and he told her.
Yeah.
So no one knew until he had to spit it out, because I wanted to call it the Inquisition. It's not the Inquisition, but it might as well have been one.
Right.
The mole hunt.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, Reed can keep everything on the up and up. Weller, not so much.
Yeah. Weller's not good at that. That's not his strong suit.
No, and he's obviously refocused a lot of his life around Jane, and it definitely messes up his judgment in some scenarios. And Reed is the first one to be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I kind of think that Kurt has we kind of most of us know this, so we've been watching the episodes this long, that he's kind of always had a thing for her, even when he was a kid, kind of the childhood crush. And she kind of went missing, and then she's back, and now, she's all grown up and beautiful now, so... he's invested because his dad and everything. So, yeah, he's got a little bit of stake in this.
Well, and it's this huge part of his life. Like, that night, his entire life changed. Yeah. His dad was accused of murder. His family fell apart. Like, that was a huge turning point. And that is a wound that he has not allowed to heal because he remained mad at his dad, all that fun stuff. Carried that baggage for years and years and years. And now she's back.
Right.
And he's not sure how to handle it because that has massively upset his status quo.
Yep, it sure has.
So it will be interesting to dive more into the psychology of Weller a little later on.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Yeah.
Then let's talk a little bit about Jane.
Yeah.
Because Jane was, again, mostly the B story today, and I was okay with that change of pace.
Yeah, and I liked her scene with Dr. Borden because he pretty much came after her. Dr. Borden got a little tough. I was like, oh, okay, mister.
Is he a psychiatrist or a psychologist?
I want to say a psychologist, but I might be wrong.
One of those can prescribe medication.
Right,
the other one cannot,
right.
and I do not remember which is which right now. Chat,
yes, chat,
please
help
help
us.
Someone Google it.
There are co-hosts.
They are. Chat's basically our co-hosts. We love you guys.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I know. Someone Google it and let us know which he is and which one can prescribe medication. Because
I think
fairly certain it's one and the
psychiatrists
same.
can prescribe medication,
and
the psychologist
can't.
But I'm not sure which one he is.
I would bet psychiatrist.
You're probably right.
But he's that for the FBI.
Yeah.
And we've seen that a lot of these people have a lot of issues. And they go into, like we saw this week, some horrifying situations.
Oh.
And they may or may not come out the other side. And they may lose friends. Like, lots of terrible things happen in the course of a given mission if you're an FBI agent.
That's true.
It's not an easy job.
Right.
And he is the guy who sits them down and gets them to talk about their issues and heal. Like, he has to be on it.
Right, yeah. And he can, he was talking to Jane and he can clearly tell that she was hiding something. And she is.
Well, she's not a super good liar.
No.
I'm not feeling well. I think it's,
yeah.
okay, honey.
Right, yeah.
Just-
it's like nobody's
just sit
buying that.
down.
She should at least cough. Not coming in. You know, it's not like you're dying at least. You know, give it a little drama.
Ask me how I black lung, Pop.
Yeah. Ask me how I know that. Never mind me. Never mind.
All right, Jessica Iverson in the chat says a psychologist cannot prescribe medication.
Right, that's correct.
So which one is Dr. Borden?
Yes, I don't know.
That's question number 2.
Jessica, that is your job. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You are our Google Meister for the night. Do the
Right.
thing, win the stuff. Yeah, so he definitely calls her out. Like, she calls out of work and we get to see her playing solitaire and turning on the TV and turning off the TV. Like, she doesn't want to be there. She's not dealing with it well, but she's really not able to use her time well outside of work.
Yeah, and I think she's kind of bored. I mean, she's you know, she's has nothing to do. If she's not at the FBI, what is she going to do with herself? Hang out with Oscar?
Yeah, and I don't think she knows how to distract herself.
Right, exactly. She can't go to the mall. She can't go get her hair done. You know what I mean? She can't do the stuff that we as girls do.
Well, I mean, she could, but I feel like that's not her speed.
Right.
She's not really into...
It's not her thing. Yeah, that's not her thing. She'd rather, chase the bad guys.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jessica Iverson says he is a psychiatrist.
Why, thank you. Thank you, Jessica.
Yay, we got it right.
Right. Yes,
yay. But yeah, no, he has to be on his game all the time. And he definitely is. And Jane is basically having a crisis of faith and saying, I don't know who I was. I don't trust who I was. I want to stop working with the FBI. And Borden basically tells her, you want me to tell you that's okay. I know you're not telling me everything. And I'm not going to give you approval for anything until I can see the bigger picture. Which is really smart on his end.
Yeah. Because if she was to open up and start saying I had flashbacks, can you imagine the can of worms that would come out of that?
But not even that, refusing to approve when he knows there's something that she's not telling him. When you don't have the context for something, you can't make a solid decision.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed by Dr. Borden this episode.
Yeah, I liked him.
We don't ever get to see much of him, but I really like him.
I know.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like to see him when he's on.
So. Oh, yeah, no, he's great.
Yeah. Okay.
And she talks with Patterson because she just... I took a day off of work, but I came into work anyway. It's literally my life. I can't not.
Right.
She helps a little bit with the case, and I think what helps her the most is talking with Zapata afterwards, and Zapata saying, if we hadn't gone after those girls, no one would have found them.
Right.
What we're doing is bigger than us and you and your tattoos and everything. We're really helping people. It's like, oh, my crisis of faith, that helped.
Yeah.
That helped.
I think she felt better after hearing that. Jane did, at least, Zapata kind of making it all sort of clearer, kind of bringing her back, because she was kind of off in the distance, and she kind of brought her back, to solid ground again.
She got her feet back under her emotionally, for the most part.
Exactly.
So. And she, of course, goes to talk to Oscar and be like, hi, so you're the one that sent the encrypted email. Great. I'm still not working with you.
Yeah.
I still don't trust you. I don't trust who I used to be. I'm not your asset inside the FBI. I am the FBI.
Wow. Okay.
I liked that.
I did too. I was like, well, she knows who she is now, doesn't she?
That was pretty great. And then laying down the law of I am not your fiance and I am not on your side. Like, on one hand, ouch.
Yeah.
On the other hand, okay.
Right. Yep.
And I'm still not sure what to make of Oscar.
I'm not either. I don't know what his purpose is. I mean, his purpose is to kind of keep her kind of wrangled, but he's got to have something bigger going on with his purpose. I'm still not quite clear on that either.
Yeah, and he keeps saying, if you could see the bigger picture, if you could, and then not giving her the info. And I can kind of see why. There's a playbook. We have to follow it.
Right.
We have 2 seasons. We need to be, we get it. But it's still, that's a really good way to make yourself look really suspicious.
And then, remember, he dropped the bomb on her, basically, and said, look, if you don't cooperate, we're going to tell you, you're going to kill Weller. You know?
I don't know if you've listened to Hamilton.
No.
All I get, there's a line from one of the songs that says, and when push comes to shove, I will kill your friends and family to remind you of my love. And it's just like, now we're King George. This is great.
Pretty much.
This is great. So that was all I could think of for that one, was just like, okay.
Right.
Okay.
She's going to do whatever he says now. He's kind of got her, because she doesn't want Weller to die. She don't want anybody to die, because just, but especially Weller, because she's,
And she can't tell them.
And that's it. That's the thing. She's can't say anything.
Or she can tell them, but we're not going there. So it's a fun little, I don't know if Catch-22 is quite the right term, but she's definitely in a spot.
Yeah. And then she had 2 tattoos that led to the crime of the ladies. The ladies of the evening.
Yeah, the bull and the lions.
The bulls and the lion, yeah, which was interesting.
What I find hysterical is that it initially led them to an NYPD stakeout.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that led to one led to another, and so they kind of followed the breadcrumbs, so to speak.
Well, that's how all of these episodes go. I mean, we had a few at the beginning that were a little more centralized, but a lot of them are just like, here's this, but it's that, and it leads to this, and then it turns out it's this, but then this occurred. I mean, it's dominoes,
right?
But it's really interesting dominoes.
Yeah, I like that.
But they actually wind up at a mural for Paloma Diaz, who was a 24-year-old girl who had been killed, her body washed up in Delaware. Like, it was this whole big ugly thing. Yeah. And it turns out the tattoos were time sensitive because her boyfriend, Ronnie Vargas, who was accused of the murder and convicted for the murder, is set to be executed the next night. And he started off with, I'm innocent, I didn't do it. The Innocence Clinic, which I hadn't heard of them before.
I haven't either.
But it sounds like it's a place that takes on these hopeless cases, or these cases where someone is innocent but they can't afford a lawyer, or I'm not sure. That will require more research on my part. But I feel like the name says it all for that one.
Right.
So the Innocence Clinic took on his case, and then 2 weeks in, he did a 180 and said, nope, I did it, I'm guilty, I'm done.
Right.
And wouldn't take the plea bargain.
Right.
And it turns out that he did that because someone burned down his sister's house with his sister and their 3 kids inside, and it's a miracle that they got out alive.
Right.
And the one agent who was going to be a witness.
Yeah, a witness.
Words, you guys. It's a words kind of night.
Yeah.
The one who was going to be a witness for his case backed out. Turns out it was witness tampering because he was an ICE agent and his boss put a sexual harassment charge on him, which was completely bogus, and said that he would fire him if he testified.
Right.
It's like, okay, so we are trying really super hard to keep something under wraps here.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that they are earmarking women who are getting deported.
Yeah, they were just the middlemen.
Yeah, and taking some of them, essentially kidnapping them off the bus to be... And as much as I hate to say it, the earmarking method was very clever. Awful, but clever. Because he'd typo their birthdays. So instead of being like 1994, it would be 1894. And he would just switch a digit on them. So it shows up, but it looks like dude, you typoed again. What the heck?
Right.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, somebody would look at it and go, why does he keep putting 18 something here? Oh, it's just a typo.
It's like the keys are right next to each other, but do you need a remedial typing course?
Need some glasses.
Okay? Yeah, some glasses.
A pair of glasses.
So it's very smart, but it's still so bad.
Yeah. And they were on the take, those two guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were definitely getting paid for it. They were part of this whole wonderful human trafficking thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they I lost my train of thought. There we go.
Oh, we're talking about
essentially Zapata goes undercover because there's another girl earmarked to go the next afternoon.
Right.
It's like, well, I look kind of like her. Let's do the thing.
Yeah.
And they put a tracker on her in a locket.
Yeah.
I'm like, that, okay. So we're looking at that going, all right, but if these people are getting kidnapped, what makes you think they won't take their jewelry?
I know, I was thinking that too. I was like, no, they should have did something else. But that's okay, because, But the fact that they led her through the building, towards the restroom, and they stabbed her in the back of the neck, I was like, ow! And the fact that she didn't scream, because most people, if you do that, you'd be like, ow! Something, and they didn't hear her, so...
Like, how fast acting was the stuff in that needle?
Right. I was thinking that as well. I was like, oh, that must have been some fast working stuff.
Yeah, so they drugged her, they took all of her jewelry off of her, and they threw her in the back of the van. And Weller and Kurt. Weller and Reed. Yes, there we go. It's okay. We're going to keep this train moving. We are. We're going to keep going. We cannot stop the dominoes now.
No.
There, it's like, oh, the tracker's on the bus. Let's follow the bus. Mm-hmm. Why haven't we heard anything?
Yeah.
Let's do some visual confirmation. Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, she's not there.
That's great.
Yeah.
And just, I kind of love the fact that no one else on the bus was questioning, where did she
Right, yeah,
go?
where'd they take her? Like, where's that girl that was sitting here? Nobody said anything because they're probably all terrified,
Yeah, these are all people who are being deported, which is awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it turns out that they're keeping them at one location.
In a basement.
Yeah, in a basement. And the poor girl, Natalie, who was down there.
Natalie had a strategy.
Yeah.
And it was an awful, awful place. So it was, okay, we sleep during the day down here. They dress us up at night. And at night they take us upstairs. And there are parties.
Yeah, and they were
put on by Mr. Tate. And then people are allowed to do whatever they want to us at parties. He's basically running an unwilling brothel full of kidnapped women.
Yeah,
this is terrible for everyone.
And the women are party favors, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, as we find out later, is what happened to Paloma Diaz.
Yeah.
She was one of the people that was deported. Her mom called from Mexico and said she never made it down there.
Yeah.
And one of the guests during a party killed her. Mm-hmm. And then they made one of the other girls dispose of the body.
Which is terrible.
Camila, who was kidnapped around the same time she was, and then basically became Tate's right-hand woman. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're different. You're mine now.
Right. She became the lady of the house, sort of, to kind of, wrangle the girls or whatever.
Unfortunately, but she was also very much a kept woman.
She
this isn't a job you can leave.
No, she had what is it, Stockholm Syndrome, what they call it?
I don't even think it was Stockholm Syndrome. I think it was keeping her on a very tight leash. If she tried to get away, they would have killed her.
Yeah, yeah.
She was not an equal partner in this. She was, Mm-hmm. So, great times.
Yeah, Zapata. She confronted the big tall dude with a bad attitude, and she fought him, and he tried to strangle her.
Yeah, because Natalie, evidently the guards will stop them, but will not leave any marks because they're unappealing to the client. So Natalie turns around and shows off a couple of scars on her back like, yeah, there's a guy up there with a temper. Yeah. I enticed him into beating me up like this so I wouldn't have to go upstairs. Like,
yeah, she did.
It's really bad when that's the lesser of two evils.
That's true.
Like,
I haven't thought about it like that, but you're right. Yeah. You'd rather get beat. She said she'd rather get beat 1,000 times than to go upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's this whole episode is just like, that is horrific. Zapata is an amazing human being. Oh my God. That is horrific.
Right.
Like, ugh.
Yeah. So, what
else? She just absolutely beats up that guy and then taken hostage again, unfortunately. And they find out that, oh, this isn't the girl that we were supposed to get. Just loved Mr. Tate going, did any of you read the file? Did any of you even look at this? Does she remotely look like the person we were... Seriously, guys?
Right.
Seriously?
Right, exactly.
It's like, you're one of those villains that's trying to be charismatic, but it's not working because we know what you're doing. No.
Yeah, you're a very, very bad man.
Yeah. But fortunately, they figure out how to get to her. There's a key card on the windshield of the car that they used to kidnap her. They're able to trace it back to a gate manufacturing company, which made gates for a residential development that was unfortunately panned when the economy tanked. But all the houses are still there, just not lived in.
Yeah.
There we go. That's where we are. So once they figure out, oh, she's with the feds, Tate goes, well, I need to leave. But this house is full of evidence, and I can't leave any of that behind. So burn it. Well, what about the women? Well, they're evidence.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
That's murder.
Yeah.
Let's just burn them alive, because that's a really good way to do things.
Oh, God. And they lock them in the basement. And the poor girls couldn't get out.
I did love that they showed the part with Zapata breaking the zip tie, because that is what you're supposed to do. You get it as tight as you can, and then you break it, the clasp, against your lap, whatever's nearest to you, etc. Like that actually is how you're supposed to get out of a zip tie like that.
Nice. I'm glad, they showed that. At least we know. In case we're ever in any zip ties, people. Hopefully none of us will be.
God forbid.
No.
But if it happens, now you know.
Right now you know. You have been, you have been informed.
Yeah.
You've been informed.
So we have Weller and Reed upstairs trying to get in the house in a gunfight with Tate's henchmen, bodyguards.
Yeah.
Extras in suits with guns.
Yeah, his henchmen.
Those guys.
Yeah.
And the house and the basement on fire, and Zapata, being an amazing human being, finding a toolbox down there, unscrewing the bars that are on the windows, breaking the windows, finding a ladder, and getting all of the women out. And of course, she gets everyone out, and then something collapses in front of the window, and she can't get out. I'm like, yep. This is how these things go. We have an extra 5 minutes of drama to build. Let's do this. Let's cut off the escape routes.
Let's kick in the door that won't go in. You got to kick it like 20 times for it to go in. Yeah.
And then we manage to get her. Then we have to get out before it hits the gas line. And then, there's a couple of feet away from the house when it explodes, and they all collapse on the lawn. I'm like, that's a formula at that point.
Yeah, that was a Hollywood scene, people. But it's okay.
Extremely.
But it's okay. It was still good.
But there's a point where you could sit there and go, and then this, check. And then that, check. And then this other thing, that too.
Yep, got it.
Okay, gotcha.
Moving on. Right. We've seen it all. We've seen it all.
Then again, Blindspot doesn't do very many paint-by-numbers scenes as it is. So, one or two they can get away with. Like, I'll allow it. If this was every week, we'd have a problem. Yeah. But for this one, just like, okay, let's roll. It's cool.
Yeah, I agree. They tend to have their own formula, which is nice.
So they have Tate in custody, and he and all of his clients are getting charged. And evidently the person who killed Paloma was a 2-term senator.
Of course.
So it's like, great.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Washington.
I know, right?
This helps.
Yep.
It's just hard to talk about this A-plot. This is just really, really ugly stuff. Yeah. And there's really no getting around that.
Yeah. Oh, and the next, we get done with that, but then what about Reed looking into Carter's disappearance?
Yes.
I'm liking that plot.
The best they can figure out is, okay, traffic cameras, the car was there. How did it get there? And he gets a warrant, he heads down to the depot where all the footage goes, and we found out that Oscar managed to avoid all of the listed traffic cameras, absolutely nothing. And the guy running the footage is like, wait a minute, I feel a plot convenience coming up. There are brand new unlisted cameras that we've been testing. We might have something for that. Yeah. And lo and behold, he's on one of those driving Tom's car. Yep. So Reed texts Mayfair with, I found something, meet me back at base. And then gets knocked out by a little silhouette of a man.
Who could that be?
It might not have been Oscar. It didn't look like his build.
Not. No, it did not. I was thinking, it's probably somebody else working with them.
Yeah, most likely. So I'd be very surprised if they weren't keeping tabs on everyone.
And I'm still waiting on a corpse from Tom. I want a corpse to wash up somewhere because I'm not convinced that man is dead. I'm telling you. That's just me.
Oh, I don't think that corpse was ever in the river.
Oh, Yeah, you're right.
Because they shot him a whole heck of a lot, and there are...
Oh, they probably buried him or somewhere already. Okay.
There are better, more secure ways to dispose of a corpse, especially if you have an organization at your fingertips, which I'm sure is what Oscar and Jane kind of are part of.
Yeah.
As opposed to throwing it in the river and praying. Because that's exactly what happened with Paloma. Yeah. And she washed up.
Yeah.
And then we had all of this.
Yeah. But I want to see a corpse. I don't care if they dig him up or where they find him in a closet somewhere, a freezer. I want to see a corpse. I want to ID a corpse.
You want to put a stake through his heart just to be sure.
Just to be sure. Because I'm not convinced.
Tom the vampire.
Because that's always a chance he could rise from the dead.
I love Rufitz in chat saying Oscar was busy being rejected by Jane. Like, he couldn't have been the silhouette.
I know, right?
He was too busy getting turned down by his ex.
Oh, that's right, because he was on the roof with her talking.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's a good point.
Provided that those scenes took place at the same time.
Right.
Because all we have is nighttime exterior.
That's true. So, I mean, did he have time to get over there and do it? We don't know.
Is it someone else? We have no idea.
Right. And then when they knock him out, what are they going to do with him? That's what I want to know. They're going to take him somewhere? Right. And question him and beat him up? I don't know. We don't know.
And the one other thing that we need to touch on, that I can think of at least, is that Zapata's apartment is being bugged by Matthew Weitz, an assistant district attorney.
Yes. We forgot about that.
And then he, evidently he was the one calling her and came out to meet her and basically said, okay, we want information on Tom. Mm-hmm. I don't have any. It's like, so you can either fight these charges and you can maybe get a year with probation, low security, if you get a really good lawyer, but you don't have a really good lawyer.
Yeah.
So for Tom, she's basically out of the frying pan into the fire, and that, Yeah,
they pretty much got her. They got her by the niblets.
Yeah. And they got her
I hate to say it like that, but it's true.
They busted the gambling ring and got her bookie.
Yeah, they got the bookie. Once they get the bookie, they got everybody else.
Just can't win.
No, she cannot. She thought she was out, but they pulled her back in. Oh. So yeah, they're gonna use her, and she's gonna have to do some things that she does not want to do.
So she got physically held hostage in this episode, and is also still being held hostage by good old Matthew.
Yeah, great. She's like, great.
She just can't win.
No,
seriously. Girl needs a vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Run far, far away.
All right. So, do we have anything we haven't covered?
Let's see. Tells James to cooperate. No, I think we got everything, actually.
All right, chat. If there's anything that you can think of that we haven't covered, do let us know. We've got about a minute or so delay, so by the time this hits the chat, I will have finished talking to you about iTunes.
Yeah.
And our other thing.
Right.
We have several things to talk to you about tonight. We're mixing it up a little bit. iTunes, of course, we love you. We absolutely adore you. We would not spend half the show talking with you in chat if we didn't love you, which you guys are wonderful. And if you would like to help us out, the best way you can do that, go on to iTunes, find the AfterBuzz TV Blindspot podcast, subscribe, rate 5 stars, leave a review. Of course, if you leave a review, we read it on the show. We don't have a new one this week. Mm-hmm. So, next week we will see what occurs.
All right.
That does not stop us from loving you. That does not diminish our love. We still adore you guys. You know that.
We still love you guys.
But yes, comment, rate, subscribe, do all of that lovely stuff. It really helps us out here at the studio. Mm-hmm. Now let's take a minute for a short commercial break.
As we should.
Are you curious about a celebrity boyfriend's midlife crisis? Do you enjoy hearing stories about behind the scenes of Hollywood? Are you amused by old TV and movie references? Then you'll love The Tomorrow Show with Kevin Undergaro. Join AfterBuzz creator and Maria Menounos' fiancé, Kevin Undergaro, along with AfterBuzz co-host Roxy Stryer, Ashley Daniels, and others for all the insanity. Watch live Monday and Thursday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Time on thetomorrowshow.com. All one word, spelled like it sounds. Mm-hmm. Or subscribe and download free on iTunes. Go to thetomorrowshow.com for more information.
There you go.
And that is why I don't get hired to do infomercials.
That's okay. You did good. You did fine.
I think next week I do my best Billy Mays impersonation and see what happens.
Oh, I'm glad. I want to see that one.
I'm Billy Mays here to talk to you about The Tomorrow Show.
That's right.
All right, can we get chat back up? See if we have any final comments from them.
What does
it's
it
a conspiracy, so much blackmail. Oh, Fantasy Stats Guru says they watched The Tomorrow Show last night. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
Someone said,
lovely
Roxy.
human being.
She's great.
Thank you for supporting. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
For those of you who are listening on iTunes, I'm making little hearts at the camera.
Yes.
You can't hear them, but they're there. So yeah, let's swing into predictions then.
Alrighty.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I will forever love The Light Show.
Okay.
The Light Show is my favorite part of that effect. So we have a trailer for next week, a preview. Trailers are for movies. Whatever.
Yeah.
Evidently, there is a stolen painting of a burning rose, and we get Patterson saying the burning rose is one of the most prominent words. One of the most prominent tattoos on your body, and it's just luring them into a trap. Because evidently one of the founding members of whatever agency Jane used to work with and is now disavowed and whom Oscar still works with, those guys, has decided that he just wants to kill Jane now.
Yeah.
And I guess let's just take out everyone else while we're at it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, because she's not cooperating. So, they're going to have to teach her a lesson, I think.
Well, and I feel like this is going to be another one kind of like last week where we don't have A plot, B plot, C plot. We're going to strap in and we're just going to go beginning to end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
I feel like that's what's going to happen, and I am perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, me too. My prediction, I kind of think Allie and Weller things may start to heat up between the two of them.
I would not be surprised.
And then because Jane's going to have to get jealous.
It's not fandom without a ship war, right?
That's right. And then Jane's going to be looking at her like, oh, girl. Yeah, I see you.
I get the feeling that Jane's not going to know what to do with herself if this information comes to light. I could just see, we were on a break.
Right. Yeah, well, because she's not accustomed to dealing with that emotion. It's going to come surging through her. Excuse me. And I think she's going to have to deal with her feelings.
And her memories of relationships
right.
are just a few snippets of with Oscar. And I'm like, that's not really something to base this on. Like, if you don't have memories of past relationships and getting into them and getting out of them and dealing with that, then it's going to be rough.
Yeah.
So, aside from that, I don't really have enough information to try to make a more informed prediction.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about Reed finding more stuff about Carter?
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see him next week.
Okay.
Or if we do, it's going to be like maybe a little bit at the beginning and 5 minutes at the end. If we do have a B plot, cutting to him will be our B plot.
Oh, I see. Yeah, what they do with him and everything. Oh,
but
okay.
I would not be surprised if it's strap in and go until like 10 minutes from the end, and then we get a little bit of Reed, and then we get a little bit of emotions, and then we get a little bit of Zapata and Matthew the jerk.
Right.
We're going to need something for him. If he's stepping in where Tom and Fisher used to be, we're going to need a nickname.
I have said it before, and I'll say it again. You cut the head off a snake, another head grows, and it's always one. Thank you.
And I'm telling you, that's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they tape after us.
I know, right?
That's Hydra.
That's it. That's what they do, people.
By the way, stick around for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show. It's amazing. They are good human beings. Okay, I think that is about all we have for this week.
Yep.
Of course, we are going to be back next week. Stephanie, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me at StephanieG3360 on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Kiaxet. That's KIAXET. I am also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. I'm essentially taking a week off of my after shows because I am going to be traveling many places. Robots in Disguise is on Sundays. We are off this week. We will be back later on. We'll keep you updated via Twitter. Arrow comes back tomorrow night, and Star Wars Rebels, the penultimate episode, is also tomorrow night. So watch the things. It will be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.